Hey Frontline fans, welcome back to Comic Frontline, and fans, you're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to do that all-important comic book review so you, the fans, can make a decision what comic books to buy. And today, guys, we're talking about Marvel Now's Invincible Iron Man, issue number 1. That's right, guys. And it says, Riri Williams is Ironheart. Why not just call it Ironheart? I mean, we all know she's taking place of Iron Man's spot. So just call it Ironheart. It's not Iron Man. It's not Tony Stark. He's not featured in the book. It's not him every single day. Just call it Ironheart. There's nothing wrong with that. I think we get it, right? So the book is written by Brian Michael Bendis. The artwork is done by Stefano Casilli. And I love the cover. The cover is absolutely gorgeous as you get to see her flying through the sky in the Iron Man suit, her version of the Iron Man suit. I love the actual artwork in this book. The facial expressions are really well done. The inks are a little heavy, but I don't think it detracts from the artwork. I think it helps it in many ways. It brings out the characters a little more. So overall, I thought it was awesome. You get to see these different creatures. You get to see the nice the wording in here as well. The dialogue, the word bubbles were different in here. The dialogue boxes, as you get to hear her voice maybe muffled in the actual armor that she's fighting in. I really liked it. I love the way the book was actually laid out. And so before this book actually happened, or before this issue came out, I just didn't agree with the whole Riri Williams situation. Like, if she's taking place of Iron Man, just call her her own book, like I said already. I don't have a problem with her being an Iron character. Never said she was going to be a horrible character. I just didn't agree the way they were marketing the whole situation. So, let's talk about the story now, alright? So, this point forward, there are going to be spoilers. So, if you haven't read your copy yet, please read your copy. Come back, see me, leave your comments below on what you thought of this overall issue. Alright, so in the beginning of this book, we get to see Riri's actual parents go to school, and they find out that she's not just a genius, that she's a super genius. And she needs to be involved, she needs to be part of the world, and she can't get lost in the world, or she's going to be bored, and things like that. So the next thing it does is it goes back to today, and it just sits there and says, she goes, I love this world, and she's flying in her armor, and she's having a good time. And we get to see her express herself on video, sitting there saying, you know what, I'm taking over Tony Stark's job. You know, and just as I was getting to know him, he's gone. And I don't know if I'm ready for this. So right away you get to see her thrusted into this battle against the mutant Animax, or Animax if I say it right. She is a mutant that can create animals or creatures from her DNA. And she was escaping from prison, using her abilities and causing mischief and mayhem across the city. And so what happens is you get to see this battle erupt, and as we're seeing this battle happen, we get to see the history, the past of our character. We get to see how her mom interacts with her and how she still tries to make her this, you know, normal person at times when she's all, you know, into her work, and we get to see how smart she really is. We get to see her make friends with this girl Natalie, and it's her best friend. And it was really cool, like I said, as it flashes back on seeing how Riri deals with this battle, because this is her first time what looks like really getting into battle. It's this primitive armor. Her AI sucks. It's just like, give me some dialogue or give me some research on Animax. And it's like, searching, and it's just not real speed. It's not up to her par, you know? And so, again, we get the flashback on her past, and we wind up seeing that we have an Uncle Ben moment in this book. We wind up seeing that instead of Uncle Ben, being shot, there's this drive-by shooting where people just randomly shoot, and the next thing you wind up seeing is her best friend winds up getting killed, and her stepdad winds up getting killed, and the only person left in her life is her mom. So there was your Uncle Ben moment in the issue. So you kind of get a little bit of understanding now why she's probably fighting bad guys, and she kind of has maybe this little bit of a vendetta. And so in the end, we wind up seeing her actually prevail against Animax. And just like in a Spider-Man comic, the authorities are not with her, so they try to attack her, and she kind of takes off and she's flying. So by the time we get to the very end of this issue, she sits there and she tells her mom, and her mom obviously agrees what she's doing here, is that she stresses that she doesn't have this AI technology. She needs it, but she doesn't have the money. She doesn't have the funds. And just as she says that, we wind up seeing that she gets this delivery at her mail, and it's a box, and it says, "Push me." And the next thing we wind up seeing is that conveniently we have a Tony Stark AI at her fingertips. So, what did I think about this book overall? I thought it was a pretty good book. I definitely will be reading issue number 2. The book gives me a reason to care for Riri Williams. You got to see a little bit back into her history. And they did it. The pacing of the book was really nice because you got to see her do a little battle, and then you got to see her do, her flashback. So I like that. Now, what I didn't like about the flashback is we've seen it before. We saw it just like I said. It was an Uncle Ben moment. We got to see her her stepdad get killed, and she was kind of mean to him, saying that he was annoying before he got killed, and her best friend got killed. So that was the little difference there, that her best friend wound up getting killed. We've also seen it before where we have someone chirping at someone's shoulder, and that was in Superior Spider-Man, where we got to see Peter chirping over Superior Spider-Man as a ghost, right? So in this time around, now we get to see Tony Stark as maybe not a ghost, but an AI chirping over Riri Williams' shoulder to kind of guide her in the right direction. So I've kind of seen this. We've kind of read this all before. But as a book in itself, I thought it was pretty good, and it'll be interesting to see where this book goes going forward. The one thing I did have an issue with the artwork is that I think we had a 10-year gap difference, and we didn't see any age change in her mom, and her mom looks really young, so it's hard to tell if she's a friend or her mom or whatever it is, but that's a nitpick in the artwork. So overall, this was better than I expected it. However, I have seen this a little bit before, and hopefully it just goes in a good direction. The one thing that I did want to see a little bit more was maybe not Tony's AI come into play at the end of this issue. I would love to see Riri Williams experiment a little bit more with her new powers and growing to be her own individualized Iron Man. So in time, maybe with her communicating with Tony Stark, she still experiments, and we get to experiment all that with her. So we'll see what happens with it. In the end, I got to give this book probably a 3.75 out of 5 stars. Couldn't quite give it a 4, but it was better than expected. So guys, in the comments below, tell me what you thought of Invincible Iron Man issue number 1, otherwise known as Ironheart. And fans, until the next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.